So this is how I run my fluids. Opened a bag, open the tubing, pull off all the tabs. There's only 2. So I gravity prime my tubing. There's an option to use the pump to do it, which does work, but it's slower. So there's this blue piece and this plastic piece. They both come off. They do not touch anything except for the inside of this one. And just kind of rock it back and forth. Make sure it breaks that seal. Lift this up to make it go faster. On my tubing, there's this little arrow. It's an air bubble catcher basically. And I have to hold it so that the arrow is upright until it gets full. And then fluid starts to come out of that part of the tube. And then once it reaches the end, use the clamp to clamp it off. This is usually when I stick my bag into the backpack. And then use the little clip that I sewed in there to attach. There's a little hole at the top of the bag. Then this piece comes off, this blue plastic piece. And on the bottom of this, there's these 2 like posts. And on here are 2 little hooks. So basically I hook those on there, pull this down because this comes up to close, pull it down and then press that in and then close it all the way. So right now it's, there we go. It needs to be reset for fluids. So reset reservoir volume. Yes. Double check what the programming's at, which is at 250, which is what I normally run it at. That gives me about 4 hours per bag. Then open a flush. Can do this before or after, but sometimes I do it before, sometimes I do it after, and just slightly unscrew the top to push the air bubble out. Grab the first alcohol pad. Grab my clave, which is the blue end on my tubing that connects to my chest, and scrub it for 15 seconds. I usually go a little bit overboard. Take off the twist cap, put that on, twist it on, open the clamp on my chest, the chest part of my tubing. If I had blood flow right now, which I don't, I would pull back right now to make sure that there was blood return. But since I don't, I just push the flush all the way through, unscrew it, throw that in the trash, grab the second alcohol prep pad, another 15 seconds. And then this end just pops off. Again, making sure not to touch that into anything. Goes on, screws on. Open that clamp. Make sure this clamp is open, which it should be from the flush. And then there's a stop-start button here at the bottom that's labeled that. And I just hit yes. Now, sometimes when I gravity prime, it'll still leave air bubbles, like right now, so it might yell at me. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, looks like we're good. Screen turned off. It'll set off an alarm if it does hit an air bubble that's too big. And then so I just take this and tuck it screen side towards the bag, and then loop up my remaining tubing. And put it in here, and I specifically make sure that this piece, which is the large piece, is on the outside of the zipper. The reason for that is so that if there's any tug on it, it releases extra tubing rather than tugging on the parts that are actually connected to me. So yeah, that's it. That's how I run my fluids. And then in order to switch bags, all I do is I take that spike out of the first bag, the plastic part that's connected to the tubing, and then do the same thing, remove the blue piece, throw it away, put the spike in there, work it in there, make sure the air bubbles are gone, and start running the fluids again. And reset the fluid thing.